Hello, fabulous people. This is the Together podcast, and this is the place where Cherise and I come together to help you get it together for your everyday business life. So we hope you enjoy. And we are recording, and it is a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday evening. Cherise, how you doing, girl? How you doing?
I am doing amazing. I'm good and sleepy, but I'm up and I'm amazing.
Okay. Well, I got a little bit of energy left, and I'm in the middle of doing payroll, which I'm running behind on. So if we can keep it to 30 minutes tonight, that would be ideal for me. And then we can go to bed and get your beauty rest.
Let's go.
Right. Okay. Well, I want to just fuss tonight.
Okay. Let's fuss.
My 7:00 client was just complaining how and I've had this client for like 5 years. And so maybe longer. But he was complaining that the therapist for his son cancels on them about a third of the time. Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm so sorry. So he was like, but my son is attached to her, so I don't want to fire her as a therapist. And then I got to find another therapist. But like she cancels on us at the last minute. It's not a reschedule. It's just I can't make it today. And so that just, and so and I know my experience with my client, he's always paid on time. He's always been respectful of my time.
Yeah.
And just to hear that another therapist, he's having such a hard time that, and he's been having a hard time finding a good, solid therapist for his kid.
Yeah.
It just burns me up inside. And so I didn't, it wasn't, I mean, I wish I could have been like, tell me that therapist's name and I'm gonna call her directly and I'm gonna get it, or I'm gonna report it to the board or something. Like, I'm not gonna do any of that. But I did want to take this platform tonight that if any therapists are out there, consistency is so important. Like, it's not even about being a great therapist. I would like for you to be a great therapist, but if you're not, it is what it is. You'll continue to learn and grow, but you gotta show up.
Yes.
Like, your client shouldn't be out here in the street saying, this therapist cancels on us a third of the time. I don't even tell my son anymore that he's going to therapy today because I don't know whether it's going to happen or not. Like, the therapist is the one person you should be able to count on. Yeah. And then if you're a clinician out there and you're canceling, when you have to cancel on your clients should know, okay, something's up because my therapist never cancels,
Exactly.
And so like, I remember one time I was running late for a session and I lost my phone. It was one of those horrible days. So I couldn't text them. And so I got to the call 15 minutes late and I was like, I'm so sorry. I just left the hospital and I lost my phone and I couldn't. They were like, we knew it had to be something major.
Yeah.
I was just telling my partner that she might be in the hospital.
Not like her, yeah.
So of course I hated it. I hated being 15 minutes late. But I felt so validated that they knew that if I wasn't there, that the hospital had to be involved.
Right.
Like, something major was going on. And I lost my phone. It was just a horrible, horrible day. I felt so bad driving the whole way home. And so I want you guys as clients and customers to feel that way about you.
Yeah.
Like, oh shoot, my therapist didn't show up. Hopefully they're not in an accident. Like, it should be, they should know and have that type of stability. I think specifically because we're in a mental health field, we all people need to be stable for our clients.
For sure.
And I'm not saying you can't never miss, but this whole, like, you need to be cognizant of how many times you're missing and maybe put some rules in place for yourself. So if you have to short cancel in less than 24 hours, maybe they get a session free. And so that you're holding yourself to the same standards that you hold your clients to.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important. And again, you don't have to be a wonderful therapist. It would be great. I do want you to be a wonderful therapist. I do want you to have integrity. I do want you to know what you're doing. But you can have a consistent business being a mediocre therapist if you just show up consistently. If you don't do anything but show up consistently and listen to your clients, you will be a good, solid clinician.
Yeah.
you know, and let me, because I'm fussing, and then I get Cherise.
Fuss, girl.
So
Fuss, get it out.
I wanted to fuss tonight because this client, this is one of my clients, and he was always a client, but in the pandemic, he said, I was like, I love you. Oh, I didn't say that out loud. But at the beginning of the pandemic, he was like, Natalie, I'm not paying for childcare right now. So if you need something, you let me know. You know, that you know, the heart to say, you know, let me know. I think he was like, I got an extra $2,000 a month right now. So if you hurt, let me know. Because his industry wasn't affected by the pandemic at all. And so of course that endeared me to him. And so now to hear that another therapist is doing him wrong, like I really want to like protect him and get out there and find that therapist and beat her up. Like, don't do my good client wrong. Because this is a client that'll go to the max for you. You know, as a professional. All right. So the other thing is clinicians who are not returning their phone calls. They're getting calls and they're not returning their phone calls. Pay the extra money to get an answering service. If you can't get an answering service, you got somebody in your family who's retired or not working who can at least answer the phones for you and take a message so that they get a person. You can do it that way. That's actually literally the way I started. It was an old church friend. And she wasn't working. Hey, can you answer these phones for me real quick so that people got a person and felt heard? If you can't do that, if you're like, there's no way I can do that, I'm barely making my rent, I can't do that. Okay, that's fine. Then the other thing you can do is you can set aside a specific time to return your phone calls. So set your voicemail to say, hey, I got your call, I got your message. I return my calls between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily. Expect me to call back then, and then call the people back then. But there's so many, I'm still hearing so many clients or just people. I tried to find a therapist. Nobody would call me back. I couldn't get anybody on the phone. Like it just seemed like an impossible task. And it shouldn't be. And if you just, there's no way you're gonna be able to answer those phones or get somebody to answer those for you. You can't do the voicemail for whatever reason. I don't know why. Then you need to get you an online scheduler, an automatic scheduler, so that people have a way to book with you. And so y'all, these are just basic business foundation things. You get this in order, your business will grow automatically. And so, matter of fact, with the answering the phones, one of my colleagues, actually one of my mentors, they always had answered their phones, but it was on a kind of like a volunteer basis, like who wants to take the phone this week, and whoever took the phone would return all the messages, and would get to get the clients for that week. So they kind of passed around the phone in the practice. If you really needed to build, you handled the phones for the week so you could like get your clients. And she said that worked and everybody built and it worked. But when they hire somebody full time to only answer the phones, she said their numbers went up by about 25%. And she was like, even though we had somebody on the phones, when we got somebody consistent every day, and that's the only job they had was to answer those phones, she was like, our numbers went up automatically. People are looking for mental health therapists. Like, I promise you, they are. We hear stories of like, y'all are the only ones who called us back. Y'all are the only ones when we got somebody on the phone. You was the only one. But I know we're not the only one. Like, I know I can name 10 clinicians right now. And so people are looking for mental health therapists. Let them get in contact with you. Figure out how they can get in contact with you. Okay, that's my fussing for the evening. Getting those two basic woosah business things. Be consistent, show up. I'll give it to you, Cherise, for your show up and show out, and then answer those phone calls and figure it out. And these are fundamental, basic business practices. You got to get the clients in your door, and then you got to keep them. You don't want your name to be bad in these streets, not because you was a bad clinician, because your ass ain't showing up. Think for kids. Come on, y'all, kids.
All of the above. I think that there are certain careers that you take on a certain mandate, like it's your mandate to show up because it's like you said, it's for the kid. It's for people with mental health and wealth, health. So it's like, What are you doing? If you can, if you have something going on, like communicate better, get the people ahead of time, because people get attached to you. The kid is comfortable and attached to you. You're not showing up for them.
Right.
Yeah, that's just not, it's not good right there.
It's not good.
I'm the same way. I had a client, we had some sort of confusion, and we never do. She's an early morning client like you. And somehow I didn't show up for the 4 a.m. And she had just lost her driver. Her driver had a heart attack and passed away.
Oh my goodness.
But she said she was so nervous. She said, I thought you had died. I didn't know.
Oh,
I was like, no, I can't remember what happened. Phone situation, some kind of cross up in the appointment. But yeah, you do want to be that person where people know, oh, something isn't right. Something isn't right.
Yeah.
But I'm real big on that. Show up no matter what. Show up for the people. I know sometimes you don't feel like it. You don't want to be there. You got things going on, but I mean, it's your job. Or communicate. It's too. I don't know. It's. I don't want to get that intense, but it's almost like it's life or death. Like you literally have someone's life and their well-being in your hands. Like with you showing up, like, what are you doing that you can't show up?
Right. And okay, now that I'm out of fussing mode a little bit.
Okay.
Don't you do my client like that? This is a really good guy. And so I hate that for him. But okay, moving out of fussing mode into education mode. All right. At the beginning of your practice, if you're one of the people who, like me, you would work in multiple jobs and you're not showing up because you're double booking yourself and overscheduling yourself and you just running around crazy. You got to put everything in the calendar. If you're at that point in your life where you got like 10 part-time jobs trying to make all the ends meet, you got to calendar everything. Okay. B, you have to set aside specific times when you're going to be at the practice.
Yeah.
So if you say, I want my practice to be built on Thursdays and I want to fill up the time from 10 to 6. Then every Thursday from 10 to 6 is when you book your clients, and that's when you show up at your practice.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I understand you're going to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs, looking at the walls, trying to figure out what you can do to market yourself. That's a great time to do all your social media, or do your reach outs, or do your calls. But every week you're going to condition yourself. If I'm trying to build this one day a week on Thursdays and get it full, I show up at my practice every Thursday on that day. And I'm working on practice stuff. So I'm doing practice building activities until that time is filled with clients. And then you can move on. You can add another day. And I'd probably add another day. If you got that day, I'm going to say 75 to 80% full. Now go ahead and add on your second day. But keep it consistent. That'll keep you from overbooking and missing people and thinking you scheduled them for this time and you really scheduled for them this time, to keep that window tight in the beginning. And clients will do it. And so one of the things that I love about Cherise is you had 4 a.m. hair appointments. People showed up for 4 a.m. hair appointments. People were happy to show up for 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and 7 a.m. hair appointments. So you guys, your client will show up in your time.
Yeah, they will.
And so don't, because at the beginning, like you want to sound full, right? Or you want to feel like you want to get the client. And so if they're like, can you meet me on Mondays at 6? If that's not at the beginning, as much as you want that client, if it doesn't fit in that window of that you're designating to your practice, don't take them.
Yeah.
Because you're going to schedule on Monday at 6, and then you're going to forget, because that's really the time that you're really supposed to be working your other job.
Yeah.
But you thought you could work it in. And so that's how you mess yourself up at the beginning. Okay. So at the beginning, again, in your building, you're going to put blocks of time dedicated to building your practice.
Yeah.
Now, those blocks of time at the beginning, when it's just a block of time, you're using that to do all of your marketing, networking, whatever, but that's dedicated to the practice. And you're going to keep doing that consistently until that time block is now filled with clients. And at the 75%, 80% mark, you'll add another day on. And then again, you're going to dedicate that time into marketing and building until it's filled with clients. And then just FYI, guys, I only recommend clinicians work 4 days a week, like 4 days of seeing clients a week, so that you have a day to do your paperwork and all of like check the mail, like do all of those type of things. And then you have 2 days, a 2-day weekend, which is restorative. Restorative, so that you don't burn out and that you can stay. All right, Cherise, if you a new clinician was building, a new beautician, what do y'all call yourselves now? Stylists? What are you?
Hairstylist. Yeah.
Hairstylist. Okay. If they're at the beginning and they're building and they got 5 part-time jobs, what would you tell them?
Well, funny thing is most stylists can't juggle the job thing. They have to have a whole another situation going on because it's so sporadic. I heard you kind of say that your clients can get a little sporadic too, like, hey, can I come in and such that? I never imagined that, but I can see how that could happen. But especially our industry, people, it's too widespread. It's very hard to try to do anything
to
else.
get them boxed in like that. Yeah, I can see that.
So my advice on this side of business for new stylists, well, they make up their own rules anyway. It's just a whole nother world out there.
All right, but what would you tell them though?
I would tell them to start out booking online. Start out with making sure that you are booking your clients online, which I think that they are anyway, because they're just a digital generation. That was a pivot for us more so. But that would be number one, like make your clients book online. But number two, make sure that you are in place, in position for your clients as close to on time as possible. And the other thing is just the customer service. A lot of people don't have, the business etiquette and the customer service, the level of customer service that it takes to keep your clients coming back, because clients are aging. So I remember most of my clients were young in their 20s when I was in my 20s. And as we got older, I would have a few clients who were older. They move different. They don't play no games. They don't have time to be sitting in there. But the ones my age, they were kind of hanging around and, making it a fun time at the salon. But as we all age, nobody had time to be in the salon playing all day. So I had to get to a point where I had to kind of analyze and pay attention, like, oh, okay, people don't have time to sit around and chit chat and talk all day anymore. People have to get in here and get out. So you have to manage, like a lot of people I notice can't manage the clientele and manage the people in time. After so long, I didn't even really like having an assistant because they would be in the way, unless it was my cousin Danielle, and it was 2 other people like Brandy and you may or may not remember them, Chris. They learned to move fast, but I move so fast, I don't need an assistant.
Right. Yeah.
And they would be in the way, but that also taught me how to manage, like, okay, pay attention to everybody and communication. So I never forget, I had a client complain one time because what she saw was me put a client in front of her, right? And she thought that was unfair. But what she didn't realize is I'm always aware. I'm always paying attention to, oh, you need to sit for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and knock her out. She's easy. Boom, 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 boom. I put her in my chair and knock her out while you're conditioning or while you are sitting with color or whatever it is you need to do. Or it's going to take me 2 hours to blow dry you and you. So let me knock her out. So I had just learned to communicate with the client, like, hey, she's not going to take as long as you. So I'm going to have, while you're sitting, I'm going to take care of her. But I'm always moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's for everybody's benefit. But I realized from that client how important it was to go ahead and communicate and let her know, like, this is not putting her in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm moving her out the way of everyone. She might as well walk out the door instead of sitting and waiting on me to get you done just because your appointment was ahead of hers.
Yeah.
And I had a stylist that worked under me for a while who did that. And I was like, why would you let her sit there when she could be out the door like a whole human out the way and on about her business?
A whole human taking up space, just sit there.
Yeah, taking up space and time. When you could be bumping her, getting her out the way. You communicate with the people and let them know what's going on. Like, this is why I do this. This is for everyone. So don't think that I'm, putting her in front of you. It's just common sense. It's common sense.
Yeah. But I can see, like, the client doesn't know what you're doing. And you've been doing it so long and so well and so smoothly and so easily that I can see how, a client wouldn't know. Yeah. So real quick, what gave you the confidence to start at 4 a.m., to set your hours where you needed your hours to be?
Yeah, so I was already doing 6 a.m. clients. That was the norm for me, even when I first started. So then every now and then I would have a client who's traveling, flying out something. So like, hey, can I come in at 5 instead of 6? Okay, that's no problem. So one of my mentors told me one day, she said, one of my clients had a baby and she had to come in at 3 in the morning so that she could be off by a certain time to get home and take care of the kids. Her and her husband switch out the kids.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so she comes in there early. But then in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm not coming in that early when I am gonna still be here late. Because the problem was I'm taking people at 6 and still take 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening. Right?
Oh, child. Yeah.
I know. But
sometimes that day just hurt me, because if you're taking them at 6 in the evening, that means you ain't at the shop to 8, 9. So if you start at 6 a.m., that's
it was my life. And people wonder why I'm tired.
15-hour day.
Exactly. On a regular, every day. And people wonder why I'm tired. So what gave me the confidence was, I was like, wait a minute. If I come in that early, I could be done by 12. But the only way I can be done by 12 is to take those people who come in the evening and flip them up
to the morning. Gotcha.
To the morning. It scared me a little bit, but I just made the announcement. Everybody was cool with it. They fussed a little bit at first, like, ooh, 4 or 6 in the morning. Girl, them people be happy to come up in there now. Well, then whatever. But they were happy to. And I had to tell them, like, it's once a month or once every 2 months or something. Like, you're not getting up every day. Get your butt in here and get your hair done and get out of here. And once they realized what was happening, they're like, I'm out of here by 8 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Guess why, though? Guess why you're out of here by 8 o'clock? Nobody else is on the road. Nobody else is in the salon. You might see 2 or 3 more people in the salon.
It's nice and quiet at 4 a.m. when you're in the salon. So the way I got to you is, I think I had a stylist that was doing 6 a.m. sometime, but she ain't really like it. But I'm an early morning person. Yeah. So I would rather get up, get my stuff done, and get back home or actually get to work and be done. I don't want to. And so I was on the phone with rushing. And I was saying something like, man, I need a stylist this early in the morning, or like, man, that would start like early and like get me in and out. And she was like, I think Nicole got a stylist that started at 4 a.m. What? Let me call Nicole. I'll holler at you later. I'm like, Nicole, Samantha said you got a client, you got a stylist that starts at 4 a.m. Is that true? And then she gave me your number. And so I think that's just a testament to do what you need to do for your business. And your client is out there and will find you.
Oh, yeah.
Because somebody is looking for what you're offering. Like somebody is looking for what you're offering. Because I come at 4 a.m. all day long. Because I'm not dealing with traffic. I can get it in, get done, and get on with my work day. So it's not affecting my work day. Because once I get to work, I'm at work.
Even when we were doing those full sew-in, you still was out of there early. You know, like a whole full redo, you know, and take down, you know, redo, shampoo, trim, blow dry, all that stuff, and back in, and you still were out of there and back to work, you know? So it's a mindset shift. It's a different type of woman. I tell people all the time, it's a different type of woman that'll get up and meet me at this time of morning. Because sometimes I would have to meet people at 3:45 or 3:30. They might have a flight, but it's a different type.
I think that's really good, and I think that's a whole nother conversation. But knowing your client and tailoring to your client.
Yeah.
And so, and I remember hearing you say that, like, it's only a certain type of woman who's going to get up and get her hair done at 4 a.m. And I think you were right. And it's like those of us who I got shit to do. Like, I cannot be in a salon for 8 hours all day in the middle of the day.
Because I'm waiting on other people because it's
all this other stuff. And so get me in, get me out. And so I thought that was just very poignant when you said that. And I still think it's true today. And so one of the things, sorry I fussed at y'all. I just needed to get off the chest because y'all heard one of my good clients out here. But hearing the setting of the schedule and also setting your schedule in a way for your ideal client. And so thinking about what that looks like. And so if you want to build a practice around kids, then you need to set your hours for after school or before school or on the weekends or something when kids are available to come in. If you can build your practice off of stay-at-home housewives, so Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 will work for you. If you have a practice that maybe caters to maybe the medical staff. And so a lot of them work 7 to 3 shifts, 7 to 7. And so make sure your hours can accommodate them. And so I know I don't myself, because I rather have my mornings to myself, but I very much know at least 2 clinicians off the top of my head right now that they start seeing clients at 7 a.m. in the morning. Because one, she has kids herself. So she starts seeing kids at 7. She sees adults at 7 a.m. and she's out at 3. So she can be home. So I think maybe her husband does the kids in the morning so she can get to work and then she's available to them after school. And so think about it. And you may have to tweak your hours or tweak your client population and who you're marketing to fit the hours you need. So that particular person, she needed to work Monday through Friday, 7 to 3. So she has to tailor people or has to market and target people who can show up at her practice Monday through Friday, 7 to 3, or online Monday through Friday, 7 to 3. Which thank God for the Zoom and for online therapy, because that's a lot easier these days because people can come, they can jump on a Zoom before they leave for work, or they can do it first thing in the morning before they start working, or on their lunch break. They can take an early brunch, lunch, late lunch. So if there's a will, there's a way. And you guys, at the beginning, and Cherise, you can tell me if this is true for your industry or not, but at the beginning, you may be trying and testing a lot of things. And so it's okay to be like, okay, I tried it this way for 6 months and that ain't working. All right, let me try it this way for 6 months. Okay, this piece is working, but this piece is not working. So let me move that around. And I think you'll keep doing that. I think as you change your hours, I try not to move people on changes. So usually if I change my hours, it takes probably about 3 months to work everybody through the system to the new hours. So what I would do is just go out into my calendar until I finally don't have anybody scheduled, change my hours to where they need to be, and then start scheduling people in a note to the new hours. Because I don't like my clients to feel an abrupt change on anything. It should just be like, yeah, those Sundays aren't available anymore. Let's see where we can put you now.
Yeah.
And it should be far enough out.
Yeah. Good communication.
Yeah.
Like you said, they'll follow you wherever you go within that schedule and location and all that. Because you take good care of them.
Definitely so. Yeah. So, and it's so funny. Cause my son client tonight, and I have a couple of clients like this who I've tried to get them off of therapy and like, you're good then. Like, no.
No, baby.
We have identified that my life breaks down when I'm not in therapy. So therefore, we're gonna stay in therapy. It's just funny. They don't tell us about that part of it in school.
Right.
With that. And so it's so interesting that that we get to serve these wonderful people and they allow us to continue to serve. Yeah. And that's a really great thing. So all right, people, I want y'all serving well and doing your best. And I also want you to have good success. And so create a good name for yourself. You'll have good success.
Yeah.
You know, and so please create a good name for yourself. That's it. Just keep it simple. Answer your phones, show up. Yeah. Answer your phone, show up. So I don't know if I necessarily want you to learn on the job, but you can learn on the job. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you just keep showing up and you keep doing the work, you're gonna learn how to do the work. Yeah. And so that's how I'm saying, like, you ain't even got to be a great therapist. Be a mediocre therapist, but you show up consistently and you return your phone calls, you're going to turn into a great therapist just with time and experience.
Yeah.
Because you'll figure it out. Oh, that don't work. When I say it like that, that don't go down. Okay, let's add a spoonful of sugar. How do I say this time? And so you'll get it because our work is experience. So, all right, last word, Cherise, so we let these people go for the night.
Don't be afraid to pivot within your own boundaries,
Oh, that's such a good thing.
Yeah, because, like as you're evolving, as you are pivoting, you just have to think about, oh, these are new boundaries now, especially with the type of work that we do, because we're so close with people and people feel like, hey, we're friends. I need you, things like that. And especially my industry, I'm telling you, become everyone's best friend.
Yeah.
And, that's okay. But you just have to know and understand that you got to create the boundaries for the people. And the boundaries are healthy for both parties.
That's such good stuff. I was talking to a colleague today about therapists who have terrible boundaries. And we were saying, I was saying this is what I want people to know. If the person came into your life as your client, that's the lane they're probably supposed to stay in.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because, you can meet people at the gas station, at the movie theaters, at church, at parties, all these things. And so if this person only came into your life by way of being a client, then that's probably the lane y'all supposed to stay in, or being a patient or however you want to say it. That's probably how y'all are supposed to kind of serve. And it's a blessing in that relationship. I think that we don't have to make it something that it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
So, and that's really for my mental health clinicians. So, all right, fabulous people. That's it. Thank you guys for listening to me fuss.
It was a good fuss. It was a healthy fuss.
Yes. Because I think at the beginning, because I don't know if people are doing it maliciously. I don't, probably not, but I don't know if they know how important consistency is.
Right.
Yeah, with them. So, okay. All right. Have a fabulous night. We'll see you guys next Tuesday, same time, same place. All right.
Good night, all.
Good night.